But since last season, basketball has been a big breath of fresh air for the Blackford community. Ball State played host to Purdue right here at First Merchants Ballpark this afternoon, looking to capitalize off Saturday's win over Dayton. In Hartford City, Indiana, a town of about 6,000 people, agriculture and industries are a driving force behind the community's success. They always say that patience is a virtue, and that saying has held especially true for the Blackford boys basketball team the past few seasons. In Hartford City, Indiana, a town of about 6,000 people, agriculture and industries are a driving force behind the community's success. Beneath the surface of what may look like any old farm town lies an athlete that has brought a community together. Sophomore Luke Brown, who leads Indiana high school basketball in scoring, recently scored his 1,000th point of his career. In just his 32nd game, Brown is the fastest to score 1,000 points in state history.
I was just really happy. I've always wanted to break 1,000, and since I was a little kid, but I didn't know that it was going to be my sophomore year. So just truly a blessing, just trying to give God the glory through everything that I do.
Coach Jerry Hoover was certain that Brown would break the 1,000-point barrier in last Friday's contest against Oak Hill because of his play throughout the year.
He's averaging 36, and I forget what he had to have, but we thought that this would probably be the game he'd break the record.
Brown believes there's no better moral support than the community having the team's back.
At home is a big deal because we got the community behind us, and not only does it help us, but it could also, degrade the other team.
Not only does Blackford have a unique sixth-man factor, but it's something unlike anything Coach Hoover has ever seen.
Blackford seems to be one of the few schools in the state that at this point is supporting their team like they are.
The Blackford boys basketball team is seeking to win their first sectional championship since 2004. In Hartford City, Blake Dollier, NewsLink, Indiana. Basketball season is upon us here in the Hoosier State, and the Ball State Cardinals have been putting in the work, gearing up for the season ahead. They're projected to be third in the MAC West, but senior Kyle Mallers is a firm believer that a little work goes a long way.
We're going to cover some scouting today and get kind of like the offensive, defensive tendencies of the other team down today, and then come in tomorrow, have a good shoot around, and be ready to go when the game comes around.
With a healthy mix of upperclassmen and newcomers, the team is looking to follow in the footsteps of last year's graduating seniors, Taylor Persons and Trey Moses, who were the face of the program during their time at Ball State.
Yeah, we can replace Trey and Taylor and what they brought, but I think it's just kind of stepping up and guys filling in roles and stepping up as leaders and getting older and, doing what we got to do.
The NCAA allows college programs to take one trip overseas every 4 years. Ball State took full advantage this summer, and if you ask Coach James Whitford, there was no better time than now.
We did a foreign tour this summer. I think that helped. We played two really good teams in scrimmages. I think that helped. But some of that they have to learn through experience. So there's no question in the first couple months they'll be learning kind of that game pressure that you really feel when you're out there.
Coming off a summer of traveling the globe to work on their game, Ball State basketball is geared up and ready to hit the floor. In Muncie, Blake Dollier, NewsLink, Indiana.
Crossover.
Let's take a look just 3 years ago. Around 100 spectators and a Blackford team that lost 61 straight. Fast forward to today, and you see a gym filled to the top, seating nearly 4,000 people, and a team that is winning. Going into the 2019-2020 season, expectations are sky high.
We had a couple good seasons before, but now's our time to start winning championships, winning as many things as we can.
To do this in such a short time, it's taken talent, hard work, and focusing on fundamentals. There are 7 of which that head coach Jerry Hoover says go into preparing for each and every game.
Running, jumping, sliding, pivoting, dribble, passing, and shooting.
As we see the dawn of a new season, Blackford's window of opportunity is wide open, moving from 3A to 2A.
We have a really good shot at making a run in 2A this year, it should be a lot of fun, but we're just focused on winning games and taking each game just a step at a time.
However, that move doesn't mean games will come easy. That's something senior Brandon Strobel is looking to show the younger guys on the squad.
I just need to be there for them. They as a team, you got to work hard, so I can be there to help them. So if they see me working hard, they'll work hard as well.
The bar is set high for Blackford basketball as the team eyes to make history. In Hartford City, Blake Dollier, NewsLink, Indiana. With over 74 million boomers nearing retirement age, our nation faces what Ball State health science instructor Christina Jones says is a daunting task, keeping our seniors not only healthy, but living well.
Ensuring at a social level that we have all of the government assistance programs that are present and available for our elderly, especially for the elderly who are in dire circumstances.
Some seniors have fell on hard times. If you ask Jones, she says it's not only about treating the issue when you become sick, but preventing it from happening in the first place.
But when we start to reach our elderly years, we realize in some respect, prevention isn't as big of a question as it is treating what's already there because we've worked so hard at prevention.
But what can be done to prevent health problems down the road? Shannon Powers, professor of kinesiology at Ball State, believes the answer may be simpler than you'd think.
It's never too late to begin being an active individual.
Taking care of yourself is of utmost importance. As there are many stories of elderly adults in failing health, Ronald Warner's is anything but.
I think I'm an exceptional 84 years old. I don't look that exceptional, but I know how healthy I am and what I can do and what I can't do.
But what has kept Warner going until age 84? Riding hundreds of miles on a bike.
I used to get up on a Saturday morning and ride 100 miles and then come back home and I did that pretty religiously, so to speak, for the last 45 years.
Not only is physical health important, but so is psychological health, which is strongly impacted by social capital.
Really developing a good social environment, having good contact with the people around you, we talk about social capital often, is one of those hidden and often unrecognized factors of living throughout the life course that comes to impact your health in elderly years.
Warner gets his share of socialization at his job. Despite retiring 3 times, Warner finds himself at home in the classroom.
If you're really interested in earning a lot of money, you can't do that by being a teacher or a professor. Not a whole lot of money, but you can't put a price tag on the satisfaction you feel for interacting with young people and helping them succeed in their endeavors, in their educational endeavors. It just makes you feel good in the heart. And that's why I've always been able to come back.
While the nation combats the issue of our aging population, following in Warner's footsteps and being active from an early age is a great starting point. In Muncie, Blake Dollier, News 221. Ball State women's volleyball is coming off a full weekend. This past weekend is one that had some growing pains for the freshmen on the team. The Cardinals split this weekend, sweeping Ohio Friday and getting swept by Kent State Saturday. Going into Saturday's match, Ball State expected to win, but the day turned into what freshman Natalie Mitchum found to be a necessary learning experience for the team.
I think the lacking factor was just underestimating our opponent. We kind of looked at their record and we expected just that it would be an easy win.
That awakening could be a turning point for Ball State, who graduated 6 seniors last season and have 10 incoming freshmen. These new faces are using every learning experience they can to build a lasting chemistry that freshman defensive specialist Maggie Huber says starts with preventing opponents from scoring.
The team dynamic has been a little bit different than any other team because we are so young, but I think it's special because we are learning and growing together.
No matter how big of a win or loss, Coach Kelly Phillips prioritizes looking at the schedule on a game-to-game basis.
Our focus simply is just one day at a time. And especially when you have such a young group, I think it's important for them to make sure that they maintain just, am I getting better every single day?
As for what's down the road for the young squad, only history will tell. The stage is set for what could be exciting years ahead for Ball State women's volleyball. In Muncie, Blake Dollier, NewsLink, Indiana.